Welcome to God Stories, episode 14. I wanted to share with you an experience I had in an in-home euthanasia. And this one was probably a week ago. However, I want to give you an example of how this can work. And euthanasia means beautiful death, and it can be that when it's for the right reason. So, with this patient, man, she was already senior aged and having difficulty, and then a couple of new problems arose, one being an urgent problem with bladder stones and not being able to pee, and there's heart conditions and joint conditions and other conditions which would have made this an impossibility. So the amount of pain she was in, we elected to euthanize her as a team. And when I went there, I just think about the way that I used to do this before I had my house call practice, and the way it is now is so different. So now, when I go into a home, I give the pet some anesthesia. But first, even before that, we discuss everything. We've probably already discussed it on the phone. We discuss it some more. And in this situation, the pet was on the bed. The people were on the bed. They were all laying down. No one had to even move their spot, which I love. I want the pet to hardly even notice I walk in the room. So when that happens, I mean, can you imagine, or maybe you've been in a situation, having to go into a clinic full of strangers, and with that amount of grief and despair on your heart, and trying to navigate through that in front of all these people. So I was able to go into the home. No one even had to get up. Tears were already flowing. And I gave anesthesia, just a small little poke under the skin, and then the patient slowly falls asleep over 10 minutes. Then she's under anesthesia and doesn't remember a thing after that. That's her last memory. And after that, the people still have to deal with the rest of the euthanasia, but as far as the pet's concerned, that was all. So the next part is also painless when they're already under anesthesia, right? The only difference is I have to give an injection into the vein, so it's intravenous. So I have to hold off a vein and prep it. So the pet, I don't want her to know any of that. So she's asleep. And then the people, it's not stressful for them because their pet is literally asleep. She could have surgery if she needed it. So we do that. And then over that injection of euthanasia, it maybe takes 15 to 20 seconds. Most of the time they pass away by the time I finish the injection, maybe up to a minute, but it's just slow and painless, and their breathing stops, their heart stops, and then it's just a peaceful passing. So the pet has been peaceful, the people are as peaceful as it can possibly be, and then we take some time to remember the pet. In this case, we talked a little bit, and then we prayed. And in fact, the cremation service had arrived. A lot of times we arranged that ahead of time. So Pause to Remember was there, and they came in. And I think this was after hours. So I had two of my daughters with me, and Dr. Miranda, and the Pause to Remember, Tom Crandall, he was with us. So we had a little group with us, and I asked them if they cared if we came in and we did a prayer with them, and they didn't care. So in fact, they said, please do. So we all came in, and I think all of us prayed. In fact, I didn't think my youngest daughter would pray, and she ended up asking if she could pray at the end. It was really beautiful. So praying for the people, and then we're thanking God for the creation of their pet, you know, because He is the creator of everything good. Every good and perfect gift comes from above, and your pet is a perfect creation from above. So we do a lot of talking and healing afterwards, crying. I mean, I'm not gonna, we're not trying to hold anything back. It's gonna be emotional. We know that when we walk into it, and that's the way grief is. Grief is emotional. So we try to handle that with as much respect and dignity as possible, but most importantly with love and compassion. we don't want them to feel alone, and they're not alone. You know, we love their pet too, and we want to minister to them. And I love that I have this family of people, and and then when I mean family of people, I mean my personal family, but also my work family, that all are invested in caring about all of the people and the pets. And even Tom with Pause to Remember, he's kind of become an extended family member of our business, and we just love working with them. So I wanted to share with you what euthanasia can be, and if that's something you're having to consider, don't think of it as a scary thought. If it's for the right reason, which is the only time I ever do them, it's not going to be as bad as you think. It can be a beautiful death and a way to alleviate their pain. So I just wanted to share that story with you in hopes that it might help you. Thank you for listening to God Stories.